Hi, in this video you will be understanding the concept of fetch, decode and execute with relevance to a real-time analogy. Okay, imagine I'm giving you a task to asking you to bake a cake, right? If you know the recipe, you would start off with the procedure, or else you will go to Google or YouTube and search for like what are the various steps that are required to bake a cake. Okay, so first you will read the instructions in the manual or the recipe book in order to bake a cake. Okay, to understand the steps that helps in baking the cake, right? So this reading, you're understanding or you're getting the instructions. So this reading, either it is from a book or it is from social media or YouTube or whatever it may be, it is called the fetching process. Okay, so you're finding out where you can find out, where you can get the steps or procedures in order to execute the cake baking process, right? So this is the first step. You will be fetching out the instruction. It is also called as reading the instruction, right? Next, after reading the instruction, can you start it as such? No, you have to understand what are the various ingredients that are required, what are the various equipments you want. You want a oven, you want a bowl, mixing bowl, you want a sieve for sieving the flour and so on, right? So on reading the instructions one by one, you will understand what are the various components you need in order to bake the cake. So this process is called decode. Yes, you are going to decode, understand the instructions. Okay, this is called as decode. So once you understand each and every step of the cake baking process, you are now ready to bake the cake. That is called your execute phase. So in this execute phase, you are going to apply the various steps that you have learned, and you are going to finally bake the cake. So you have done it, right? So in here it involves three steps. One is your fetch, the other is your decode, third is your execute. This is a real-time analogy, right? So what do we need? We need the following components. Like you need a computer, that is your control unit. You are the control unit. You are now the person who is baking the cake, and you need the recipe book, you need all the ingredients and all the components, okay, in order to bake the cake, right? So now let's get started. Is all these enough? We are going to now find out how this is related to a computer, right? So this cookbook is nothing but instruction manual, so it can be related to your instruction memory, right? And you are the person who are going to do the process one by one, so you could be related to a control unit. So the control unit is one which decides what to be done, what next to be done, what has to be mixed. So all the processing, all the like control process is taken care of by the control unit, right? And next we will see what are the various components needed, equipments needed. So all the you're going to place all the material inside this bowl. So it is like a vehicle, okay? It is like a container. The container will hold something, right? So it could be related to your data processing and local storage, okay? And what are the various ingredients, dry ingredients or wet ingredients needed? Without this egg and the maida, you cannot, on the floor, you cannot bake a cake. So these are related to your data memory. So in short, we can relate it to computer with fetch, decode and execute. Fetch is read the instruction one by one from the code book, and then understand the instruction and get all the ingredients, okay? Then you're going to do the process. This is the first process. Then again, initially you will break open the eggshell and pour it inside the bowl. Then you have to sieve the flour and then put it inside the bowl. So these are different instructions. So you have to continuously fetch the instruction, decode, execute. Then fetch the next instruction, decode and execute. So this process is repeated until the complete process is completed, okay? So until your cake is done, you have to repeat the fetch, decode and execute. Okay, so this fetch is, you are going to fetch from the instruction. You are going to fetch the instruction from the memory, hence it is related to your memory. Okay, and decode is, you are going to understand what are the various things you have to do, so it is related to your control unit. It is related to your control unit, where you are going to decode and decide what you are going to do. Okay, and execution is nothing but you are making it done, so that is related to your arithmetic and logic unit. So this analogy helps us to understand how fetch, decode and execute cycle is done within the computer. Okay, so here I repeat, fetches the instruction from the memory, hence it is related to memory. Decode, the control unit takes care of this decoding process, and the execution is taken care by the arithmetic and logic unit. So the three components that are involved here in this process are memory, control unit and arithmetic and logic unit. Yes, so you are going to repeat the process again and again. You are fetching, decoding, executing, fetching, decoding and executing over a period of time in order to complete the process. Okay, this is how internally inside the computer each and every instruction is being executed using the fetch, decode and execute cycle.